Hello friends, welcome to another video of Let's Take Food, which is your weekly dose into the world of processed food. In my last video, we had discussed about alternative protein sources, and during that video I had discussed that how the different vegan protein powders, they have soy protein as the major ingredient unless they declare the product as soy free. And then one of my subscriber, he commented that I should discuss more about the myths which are surrounding soy, and especially more on soy estrogen. So that's what I'm going to do today. So without any further ado, let's get started. Now again, as always, let's start with what is soy. So soy is a condensed name for soybean, which is a legume predominantly consumed and grown in East Asia. And there are two kinds of products which are made from soybean. First category is the non-fermented one, which includes soy milk, and then tofu, which is a coagulated form of soy milk. And then we have the fermented category, in which products like soy sauce, tempeh, and fermented bean paste, they fall. Now if we talk about nutrition, then soybean is low in saturated fat, high in protein, vitamin C, folate, and then it is a good source of several minerals, which include calcium, iron, magnesium, phosphorus, potassium. Now as I said, this video is going to be about soy estrogen, so let's come straight to the point. Now most of you would be thinking that estrogen is a human hormone. How can it be in plants or even in legume? But soy is little special as it contains high concentration of isoflavones, which is a type of plant estrogen, similar in function to human estrogen but has much weaker effect. So these soy isoflavones, they can bind to the estrogen receptors in human body, and they can produce very weak estrogenic or anti-estrogenic effects. But then, according to an article published by Harvard Review, the effect is highly dependent on the following factors. Firstly is who's consuming it. Is it a human or an animal? And then the ethnicity, where the person is from, country, background, his diets, and then the hormone level, which I'll discuss further. And then lastly, the type of product you are consuming. Is it more processed, filtered like soy milk, or the one which has the husk and all those things like tempeh? So the amount of isoflavones which you are getting, they will differ. Now studies have shown that in case of hormone related prostate and breast cancers, so consumption of soy products can be highly beneficial, and then a reduced risk of cancer in Asian women has been associated with consumption of soy products. And then there's a study which has proved that soy consumption is also beneficial in prevention of hot flashes in women after menopause. Study reported that 70 to 80% of women in US, they experienced hot flashes after menopause or premenopausal age, while in Asia it was just 10 to 20%. And this was associated with consumption of soy. And there is another study relating to the positive effect of isoflavones, which is related to the prevention of diabetes. Now these studies, they are not clear about the effect in particular, but they hypothesize that isoflavones, they increase insulin sensitivity, meaning that the cells, they respond more to insulin and they absorb more glucose, hence reducing the risk of type 2 diabetes. And there is one more benefit for women. Generally after a certain age, osteoporosis in women, it happens because of estrogen deficiency, and isoflavones, they have been proved to be as effective as any hormone replacement therapy. So till now everything feels like sugar coated, as if I am Rajkumar Hirani and making a film about Sanjay Dutt. Kuch bhi! But that's not the thing. So let's talk about the risk now. And before that, there's one speculation about soy that it can improve cognitive function during the old age. But sadly, several studies which have been done in this regard have produced mixed results, with none making a conclusive statement about its effect. And then you could be allergic to soy, as it is 8th most common food causing allergic reaction. And then soy can also interfere with thyroid hormone medication, which is used to treat hypothyroidism. And this thing was proved by a randomized trial which was conducted with 60 patients, in which some were given phytoestrogen, and it was concluded in this trial that the people which were given high phytoestrogen, they increased the risk of developing clinical hypothyroidism. So yes, soy can benefit with heart-related problems, hormone-related cancers, type 2 diabetes, and even osteoporosis. But most of these studies, they are conclusive in case of women. What about men? And I know most of you would have heard that consuming soy products as they are rich in soy estrogen, they can lead to bodily changes in men and even like affect the level of testosterone. But let me clarify right now that most of the studies which have been done in this regard, they are done on animals like rats and not on humans. Therefore, as I said earlier, the metabolism of animal and human is pretty different when it comes to consumption of phytoestrogen. Therefore, the same effects cannot apply. So this still remains unclear as there is no study proving its effect in favor or against men. So that's all for today, guys. I hope you are following the social distancing norms wherever you are. If you found this video informative, do not forget to click the like button, subscribe to my channel and share this video. So see you in the next one.